I'm trying to figure out what that means in terms of quorum.
I believe the quorum is actually only 4 unless it's a hearing, in which case it's 5, but I could be wrong about that. And the general practice of this commission has been to, for meeting purposes, to treat those who are alternates and those who are regulars as counting the same. We don't, like, the alternates still show up at meetings and still count towards quorum at a meeting if the regulars aren't all there. So we don't distinguish between the two.
Okay. All right. Thank you, everyone. It's 7:37, and I will call this meeting to order. And let's see. Quorum, yes. All right. Now, did everyone have an opportunity to read the minutes from our August 4th meeting?
I did not.
I did not either. I am ashamed to say.
I didn't.
Who's that? Wait a minute. I'm sorry. Who did not? Fran and
I did
Brenda.
not.
And Sonia.
Oh, and Sonia. Okay.
The only two documents I got was the agenda and the cases.
Mm-hmm.
So
Well,
The minutes were in the email sent on, what date was it sent? Sent on by Jasmine on August 30th.
okay, then. No, I didn't read them.
Here, I can present them if that makes life easier for everybody.
yes. Yes, that would be nice. Thank you, John.
On page 1, I have a change. Lamond Daniels should have a D instead of a T.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay.
Thank you, John.
Also, commission spelled with 2 N's here.
Right.
If I'm going too fast, let me know.
No. Anybody else for page 1? Any other errors?
Brenda, are we putting Penn Williams here when we say motion passed with?
You should.
Yeah, okay, that's what I thought.
Yeah, that's the way it's always been in the past.
It should be Penn
Mhm.
Williams.
That's
Okay,
what it is.
N-Williams.
okay, that's a change too then. And I don't know what motion passed with 2, 3 abstentions means. I assume 2 in favor and 3 abstentions, but
That needs to be clear.
yeah.
Wait a minute. Yes, it was in favor and I had, yes, 3 abstentions. Sonia, Dan, and Brenda.
And that's because we weren't at the meeting.
Right. Okay. Thank you.
Hello?
There should be dismissal in 1793-21.
Yeah, it was dismal, all right.
No, it was good. The landlord rescinded his raise. That was a good result.
Hmm. Okay.
I think that's it. Did I miss anything? Did anyone else see anything?
I did not.
All look good.
Okay.
Sonia, was that your motion?
I'm sorry.
No, it wasn't, but I can make a motion to accept minutes.
Well, is it time for the question?
Well, who's making the motion?
I made Sonia make a motion to accept the minutes.
Sonia?
Yep.
Oh, okay. All right. Sonia Oliver.
Brenda second. Brenda Penn Williams second.
Okay. Now, any discussion?
Yes, I'm unclear what we're gonna do in number one in the approval of minutes, and that third item where motion passed with 2, 3. Is it necessary to be specific with how many people voted for the motion to pass?
No, I think we just say motion passed with 3 abstentions.
Okay.
I think the 2 is probably a
And that
remnant of,
clarifies it for
yeah.
me.
Mhm. Okay, so all in favor of accepting the August 4th minutes?
Aye.
Who made the motion there?
Sonia made the motion, Brenda seconded.
Okay, and any abstentions?
aye.
And someone sent Sissy the link. I sent it to her. She can't find it, so she's trying to get in. She wants to come in. She called me.
Who?
Johnny,
Sissy.
Oh. Okay. So we had 1 abstention?
that's mine.
Okay.
If you email your link to her, she should be able to use your link to get in. Oh, there we go.
There she is.
Let's see.
She's in.
Okay.
Okay, I'm in.
Woohoo.
Oh, wow, good.
Oh,
All right. Now. All right, that passed. Abstention. All right, thank you. And my chair's report, I did not make a chair's report other than saying, welcome, everybody. Hope you're getting through COVID and all the changes and some not changes, but, so I'm welcoming all the commissioners and Attorney Russell Liskov and Lamond Daniels, Chief of Community Services. So that's my report, and I hope everybody's healthy and getting through this yet another trial. And that's it. So I'd like to turn this over to Attorney Liskov, and we can go through the review and discussion and motions on the open cases.
All right. Good evening,
Okay.
everyone. Pleasure to be before you tonight. I think we had a pretty good month, actually a little shorter than a month. I think I came through with what I said I was going to in the last meeting. The first case in front of you tonight is 1781-19. On that case, I'm not getting a lot of cooperation from anybody. Some of the people who are involved are from out of town, assisting people from out of town. And so I have scheduled a mediation with those people via Zoom link on September 15th. So I would ask you to take no action on that matter until next month, and hopefully I'll have a better report for you where the case can be resolved. That's a very old case, and it's very annoying to me that people are not responding to me. But I will, if they don't show up at the mediation and they don't participate, I will make certain recommendations to you. So I would recommend at this point in time that you take no action on that.
I make a motion for no action. This is Sonia.
Second that, Fran.
All right. SL and Fran Collier Clemens. Okay, thank you. And
So I have a question.
Yes.
I have our agenda, and we don't have any information about the the cases anymore.
yes, we
Oh,
do.
it's on there. Do you want me to read it? I'll read it if you want me to.
I can share it. I've got it up on the screen.
Okay.
Okay, thank you, because I don't have it.
Oh, I'm sorry. You didn't get the agenda in your the open case?
I have the agenda, but this is all that I have.
Oh, okay. I'll talk to Jasmine about that because I know she prepares all the packets.
She's
So.
good at that. She's good.
She's great.
Yeah, it's 3 attachments. I'm just looking at it, so they were all sent.
Yeah, it's
I'm looking
the
at the 3
attachment that says
attachments.
September.
Let me see.
It's the attachment that says September 2021 current case notes.
Oh, okay.
But I'll keep it on the screen just
That's
so
why. Okay,
everybody's
that's
looking at
why
the same
I was
thing.
like, thank you.
Yeah, she's great. You guys are very blessed to
Oh,
have
she's great.
a person like her. She's
Love her.
terrific. She makes
Yeah,
my life a
she
lot easier. Very organized.
Oh, okay. That's because I had the wrong stuff. Okay, thank you.
Okay, no problem. The next case is 1782-20, 120 South Main Street, Apartment 1. In that case, the landlord has rescinded the rent increase. So I would ask you to dismiss that case because it's now moot because the landlord rescinded the rent increase.
Sonia makes a motion to dismiss the case.
Johnny Weldon, second.
Oh, and okay, and any discussion on this case?
I have a question. Did the tenant
Okay.
file withdrawal?
It's been sent to them. They have not sent it back. We've asked them twice to send it back to withdraw, but they have not sent it back yet. Do you want to wait?
Do we need one?
No, because your decision is final. If and the case is moot, if the landlord rescinds the increase, there's nothing more for the board to do.
Well, they had alleged repair issues as well, correct?
In that case, what was holding that up was they were claiming that they weren't letting them use the basement area to store their tools anymore. They are letting them store the tools. There's no more claim for repairs either.
I'm just reading what's on the thing that says had not repaired their washing machine. So if there were still pending repair issues, even if there was no rent increase, I think it would still be something that we could hear.
You could, but
We could as a group to decide whether or not to, but I want to just make sure
yes,
that
there's
we know what we're deciding.
there's nothing, there are no issues pending anymore. It's all been resolved. The landlord's letting them store their tools in the basement. The washing machine works. There's nothing more to do in the place.
Okay.
Point of clarification, Pat. Sharon,
Okay,
you guys vote on 1781.
yes, we did.
they voted no to take no action. They're gonna let me try and work my magic for one more month.
Okay. Did you get that, Sharon?
Yeah, I did. Thank you.
Okay. All right, so, 178220, we have Sonia, made the motion and Johnny May Weldon seconded. And any more discussion on that? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Oh, wait a minute, I beg your pardon. 82, dismissing. Okay, wait a minute. Okay. Sonia, Johnny May Weldon, and we have everyone in favor. Anyone opposed?
Aye.
Okay. Who is that?
John Church.
Oh, thank you.
Nay, I guess technically.
Okay. Okay. Anyone else? Any abstentions?
We're voting to dismiss the case, correct?
Correct.
Yes.
And John,
I prefer to dismiss the case once we've actually gotten the complaint withdrawal. Without the complaint withdrawal, I don't think we should be dismissing the case.
okay,
Because I don't
so
know that the tenant has agreed to it at that point.
okay, so I'm gonna change my vote. I'll go along with John.
All right, so you're opposed as well, John Church. Brenda?
Yeah,
Okay. Yay, okay. Anyone else? Okay. So we, there was a vote with, 2 opposed. So we dismiss this case. So, we're waiting to,
can I say something else? And John does have a point. Has the landlord increased the rent to $400?
No,
the
he-
la- the
No, the
landlord-
landlord withdrew the
landlord-
rent increase.
The landlord withdrew any claims for a rent increase. He's continuing to allow them to store their goods in the basement.
Mhm.
There's nothing that needs to be fixed in the property. I've spoken at length to the attorney. I've spoken to the tenant. Look at my notes here. The tenant doesn't want to pursue anything anymore. But a withdrawal's been sent out, but they have not returned it. I can't make them return a withdrawal. I can only go by what they tell me they want to do.
I understand. And I understand that the withdrawal has been sent for 3 or 4 weeks now. I think that at some point in time, we will be able to close it, but I'd prefer to actually have the withdrawal in hand before I vote to do that. That's my
So-
personal opinion.
I have a question. Going forward, do we have any rule or regulation that says how long a person has to respond to the dismissal letter before we can dismiss the case? Do we have a ruling like that?
I should let Russell talk to that. Sorry.
Well, I believe that they've always been trying to be as liberal as possible with that type of thing, but there comes a point in time where you send a letter out to someone and say, I need you to cooperate. And once you fail to cooperate, and you bring it to the board and you tell them all the steps you've taken to ask for their cooperation, they don't cooperate, then you take the steps necessary, you put it before the board, and the board makes that determination.
Hmm.
And it's an open meeting. They know this is going forward tonight. Everyone knows this is going forward tonight. I've spoken to the tenants and to the attorney, so.
Mhm.
Okay. Anyone else? All right, let's move on to the next one, please.
The next one is 1787-91. On this case, the landlord has also rescinded the increase.
Yeah.
Spoke to the tenant and the landlord. We sent out a
I'm sorry, go ahead, dash 91.
1787-20, 91 Soundview Avenue.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
That's okay. Spoken to the landlord. He withdrew the rent increase. He did that through his attorney in the file. Also spoke to the attorney. I also spoke to the tenant. And she said she was happy and that she was going to withdraw her complaint. The withdrawal was sent to the tenant on July 28th, 2021. There's no withdrawal in the file, but the case is moot, so I recommended dismissal in that case as well.
Sonia recommends, makes a motion for dismissal of the case.
Who was that?
Sonia.
Oh, thank you.
Brenda
Fran
Penn
Collier.
Williams, second.
I'm sorry, who? Who seconded?
Brenda
Fran?
Penn Williams.
Oh. Okay. We have a motion and a second. Any discussion on this particular case? All in favor of dismissing the case?
All right.
Aye.
Okay. Any opposed?
Nay. John Church.
Okay. Anyone else? Any abstentions? Okay, thank you.
All right, the next case is 1789-20, 20 Ferris Avenue, apartment 21. This case is going to actually eventually come before you for a hearing when you start doing live hearings again. I'll continue to work with the people on both sides. I won't tell you who I'm able to get to do stuff and who I can't get to do stuff. I can tell you that I'm having difficulty bringing the sides together. There's hard feelings, so it's sometimes hard to get over that. So I would recommend no action at this time until you guys start having hearings, and then I'll recommend that we have a hearing before this board on this matter, because there's no way to get these two sides together currently.
Sonia recommends motion for no action at this time.
Fran Collier Clemens seconds.
So a question, why can't we have a hearing?
We can, but the last meeting, you guys said you didn't want to have your hearings until you could do them live again. That was what was said last month when I asked what you wanted to do about that. And you said, we prefer to have them live. I mean, if you want to do Zoom, I can do them Zoom. I mean, I think someone said it was harder for the people because not everyone had the right technology to be able to be online. Someone said that some people only had cell phones. Some people said they had the ability to be looked at on a computer. Someone said it was a little too onerous for people to have to present documents via Zoom. So that was the board last month saying you didn't want to do any live. You didn't want to do any Zoom hearings. You wanted to wait till it came back live.
Okay.
Well, for me, I think we should reconsider because we don't know when we're gonna go back live. And then we're gonna have a whole bunch of cases piled up to do hearings. So I think we should reconsider that.
I have to agree with Brenda because this thing is getting worse and not better. And I don't think we should just continue to let these tenants sit out here with nothing being done about their cases.
Can we table the discussion until new business and we can discuss it there in more detail? Just so we don't
Well,
hold up.
it won't
this-
be new
this part.
business, John. It will be old business.
Old business, fine.
Okay.
Right, I was gonna say, what, that would be old business.
All right,
enough.
so we, the recommendation, we have a,
Take
A
no action at
motion.
this point.
right, Sonia and Fran seconded, and the recommendation was for no action, and we're gonna just leave it alone for right now. Am I correct, Mr. Liskov?
Yes, for this month anyway, to take no action on it. Next month, maybe a different ballgame after you discuss it for either old or new business.
Okay. All right, so, well, with the no action for now, all in favor?
I'm
Aye.
sorry. Should it be no action for now, or should it just be a motion to hear the case, and then when we just decide when to hear the case?
I think we already, when
Wouldn't
it
we
was
have to
first
go back?
presented, no, when it was first presented, we had a motion to hear the case.
Okay.
And
okay.
so every subsequent one is no action, and
Yeah.
that gives the staff the ability to schedule a case
Gotcha.
at any time,
Okay.
as if that's where they feel it's going. So
Okay.
All right, so, on that note, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Any
Fran, aye.
opposed? Pardon? Who am I talking to?
Fran, aye.
Okay.
Johnny, I said aye too.
Oh, okay, thank you. And,
Brenda, aye.
okay. Any opposed? And any abstentions? All right.
Okay, the next case is 1796-21, 13 Clinton Avenue, apartment 3. On this case, I was able to get the landlord and the tenant to enter into a new lease agreement. The landlord sent the lease agreement to me. I reviewed it. I sent it to the tenant. We discussed it. The tenant has signed the lease and sent it back to the landlord. I'm waiting for the landlord to sign off on the lease now. So I would ask you to take no action this month. I think next month will be a recommendation to dismiss the case, but I want to make sure I have a fully executed lease before I make any recommendation to dismiss the case.
So let me ask the question. Did he decrease the, he wanted to increase 740. Did he decrease it?
There was an increase. It wasn't as much as the landlord wanted, but he did get an increase in the rent.
Okay.
The tenant was very, very happy with the new lease.
Okay.
And the tenant has an out of the lease if he gets senior housing. He has a 30-day notice provision as opposed to being bound for the whole year of the lease. That was very important.
I make a motion to take no action on 1796-21.
Fran Collier Clemens seconds.
Okay. Okay. All right. Any discussion on this case? All right, all in favor?
All right, Johnny,
Fran, aye.
Okay. Any opposed? Any abstentions? Okay, thank you.
On the next case is 1798-21, 247 Flax Hill Road, number 3. On this case, I would ask that you actually would dismiss the case because the landlord, I have a letter from the landlord and landlord's attorney that they are rescinding the rent increase. I also spoke to the appellant, the tenant, and he is very satisfied to get another year of not having any rent increase. if you want, once again, I've had very good relationships with both of these people. I was able to talk to them, and the landlord has rescinded the rent increase. There's really nothing further. I understand Mr. Church's position about wanting a withdrawal. I can send one out. I know that the tenant will indeed sign and send it back to me. So if you want to dismiss it, I'll still get it. I'll still get a withdrawal. If you want to reactivate it or might need to report on next month, I'll be happy to report on next month. Whatever the board's pleasure is. But
I'm
this
still
case
going
is
to
done.
I'm still going to vote nay on dismissing it because I would like to have the withdrawal in hand before I vote that way, and I'll be consistent on that. But I recognize what you're saying, and I appreciate that it may make sense to just dismiss it if everybody is in agreement on that. I just like to have the formal document in hand, especially in this case where they rescinded it 2 days ago. So, I mean, there hasn't been a lot of time to get the withdrawal back, and it's not like.
Right. If you want to pen for next month, I know I'll get a withdrawal. It's
Okay.
just a matter of form. If the tenant doesn't comply, then I'll say the tenant didn't comply. But he's a really nice guy. I've had a lot. I have enjoyed most of my talks with the landlords and the tenants, bringing them together. I've been, getting people together. They understand each side's point of view without fighting with each other, which is really nice because they get the lights go on both sides when everyone understands each other's positions without having to take the emotion out of it. So my recommendation is to dismiss the case. It's up to you guys what you want to do. I don't care one way or the other.
I'm sorry, I had to step away for a minute. What case are we talking? 1798?
1798-21, 247 Flaxhill Road. I have a letter in the file from the landlord saying he's rescinding the rent increase. I spoke directly with the tenant, and he's very happy about that. And it only happened at the end of last week. It was the other day it came through. So
Okay. No one's made a motion to dismiss yet?
No.
Oh, I'll make a motion to
I
dismiss.
just haven't, Sonia, before you do that, so my question is, the tenant is satisfied.
Oh, tenant's very happy. He's
All right,
very
Sonia,
happy.
you can go. Okay,
He's been there a lot of years and doesn't want to go anywhere and doesn't want to pay anymore. So
all right,
Okay.
Sonia.
Motion to dismiss made by Sonia.
Okay. Thank you, Sonia.
Second by Brenda.
All right.
I
Any
have a
further
question.
discussion?
I'm ready to discuss.
Okay.
If it seems that the issues in the complaint have been satisfactory to the tenant and also to the landlord. So is the recommendation to dismiss the case the right recommendation, or a recommendation to close the case? Because you've addressed the issues that were there. So why do we have to dismiss it? Why can't we just have it closed?
well,
I mean, we have done this in the past.
okay. Usually, every time I've ever done anything like this, when you no longer have jurisdiction to do something because the case has been resolved, you dismiss it because there's no more jurisdiction to hear it anymore. If you want to call it a closure, you can call it a closure as far as I'm concerned. It's a matter of nomenclature more than it is. The case is resolved. So if you want to close it. If you want to dismiss it. I'm used to having a dismissal of the case because the rent requested, the increase, which is the Fair Rent Commission, has been rescinded. And once it's rescinded, there's no more issue before you. It becomes moot. And when something becomes moot, you lose subject matter jurisdiction over it. That's at least how all the courts rule on things. When things become moot, you lose subject matter jurisdiction.
Thank you.
Okay. Any further discussion? All right. All in favor of voting to dismiss the case?
Johnny May Weldon, aye.
Okay. All right. Any opposed?
Nay, John Church.
Okay. Any abstentions?
Fran Collier Clemens.
Brenda Penn Williams.
That come out 2 in favor, 1 opposed, 2 abstentions.
Correct.
So Madam Chair, are you voting on that one?
I say dismiss it.
Okay, so it goes 3, 1, 2. Okay, so that passes. Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. The next matter up is 1799-21 One Glover Avenue, apartment 311. So far, this is a relatively new case. It came in June. We sent out our letters. I sent out more letters on the 24th. Neither the landlord or the tenant are returning my telephone calls. After I get back, my son is getting married this weekend, so I won't be back to work probably until Wednesday of next week. I will endeavor to push harder on both of them to return calls. I've sent out letters already. I can't imagine why no one is returning calls or letters. One of the people's cell phones is no longer in service, so that's one of the reasons why one of the parties probably hasn't been returning calls, because it's a dead number. But Jasmine sent out a letter to the person asking them to please contact us, and so I would recommend at this point in time, it's very new, just, we're talking 60-day-old case. I would recommend no action at this point in time.
Van Collier Clemens moves no action.
Sonia second.
Okay, thank you. Is there any discussion on this case? Okay, all in favor of no action at this point?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay,
Grant.
thank you. Any opposed? Any abstentions? Okay, thank you.
The next matter is 1800-21 11 Merwin Street, floor number 1, NB 103. This was a complaint that was filed at the very end of July 2021. The letters were sent out to the landlord on the 13th, and I personally called the tenant as well and the landlord on the 24th of August. I left messages with both of them, kind of similar to the last case. It's a very new case. I will push very hard to get in contact with them. Jasmine has sent out letters to them to please contact us. And I would recommend no action at this point in time, and hopefully I'll have a better, as I said, it's very new. So, hopefully I can get people off of the schneid and get them moving on the file after Labor Day.
I'll make a motion for
Aye,
no
Johnny
action,
Ray
Mrs.
Weldon.
Sonia.
I'm sorry, who made the motion?
Sonia,
Sonia made the motion. I, Johnny May Weldon, second.
Okay. Second. All right. Any discussion on this case? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Okay, thank you.
Okay, the next case is 1801-21 One Cliff Street, apartments 3 and 4. This was a complaint that came in on August 2nd. We mailed letters to the landlord, and we mailed letters to the tenant. I left messages for the landlord who I've spoken to. He's an out-of-state landlord, and I've tried to call the tenant. Once again, that cell phone is out of service, and I had Jasmine send a letter out to the tenant. Very new complaint. It's less than 30 days old at this point in time. I'd ask that you take no action, and hopefully I'll have more information for everybody next month.
Sonia Oliver, motion for no action.
Okay, thank you. Is there a second?
Fran Collier Clemens seconds.
Okay. Discussion on this case? All in favor of no action on this case?
Aye.
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 All right, any opposed? Any abstentions? Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
The next matter is new cases, is 1802-21 9 Elm Street, Unit 4. This matter does not concern the request for a rent increase. The problem is the tenant is claiming that she's being denied access to the laundry room. So I'd like to study that before I recommend whether you hear it or not. I'd like to study the file a little bit more to see whether or not that falls under your guys' jurisdiction when they're not looking for that, or is it a landlord-tenant issue that should be before the housing court for a wrongful entry and detainer action? Because the lease is very ambiguous as to what the tenant's supposed to be using, what not they're supposed to be using, and I'd like to just think about it for another month before I recommend whether you guys should accept the case or not.
Motion to not hear the case made by Sonia.
Second, Fran Collier-Clemens.
Thank you. All right.
I'd like to discuss, could instead of voting not to hear the case, could we vote to take no action instead? And then voting to not hear the case seems like a more proactive, we're deciding that we don't have jurisdiction. Whereas if we take no action and wait, then maybe we'd be in a position to say, oh, we actually think we do have jurisdiction if that's the conclusion.
How about if you move to table it for a determination as to whether to accept the case or not?
That's
that way I can make a recommendation next month for you guys as to what I think you should do.
Yeah.
That works too.
Okay.
Motion to table.
Okay. So, who made the motion to table? Sonia? Okay. And was Fran seconded?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Any,
I have a question. There's already a motion on the floor. Don't you have to rescind that motion before you do another motion?
It would be best to withdraw the first motion.
Right.
Well, so whoever made the first motion to not hear the case, if you would make a motion to rescind it, and then you'd be good to go.
I make a motion to rescind the motion to not hear the case. And
I second it.
And I make a motion to take no action.
To table.
I second.
I'm sorry, table it.
okay, so Sonia, you are rescinding the first, tell me again, and rescinding your motion, and we are tabling the case for the time being.
Yes.
Okay, and that was Sonia and Fran. You seconded that, and that was okay?
Yes, for me.
Okay. Okay. Any further discussion? So all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, any abstentions? All right,
That is all I have for you guys tonight.
all right. Wow. Oh, 8:20. Holy moly. Okay, well, thank you, thank you. So, let's see, 8:20. May I have a motion?
I so move, we adjourn.
No. We have to do the old business.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Oh, we
I
did the
rescind that
cases.
motion.
Um, All right.
All right. So Brenda, your feeling is that we should have a Zoom hearing because to not do so would end up holding up potentially lots of disputes that we could be settling in the
I
meantime.
think so, John, and we don't know with this pandemic. We have this new Delta variant, It's very contagious. We don't know when are we gonna get out of this? We don't know.
Right. I have to agree.
I agree with that also.
I wasn't at the last meeting, but Mr. Liskoff had said that last meeting we had discussion about, is there an equity issue in terms of everybody having access to the technology or being able to represent their case properly in the Zoom setting. Do we still have concerns about that? Are there things that we need to think about in terms of how we structure a hearing if we were going to give everybody a fair opportunity and a fair hearing?
Well, actually, I mean, is it something that we could actually leave up to the tenants and the landlords? If they're able to attend a Zoom meeting, then we schedule a Zoom hearing and let them decide if their hearing waits or not. I don't have a problem if they're okay with waiting, but I don't think we should just say wait, because in the meantime, the landlord can't go ahead with any kind of an increase. The poor tenant is stressed out, not knowing what's going to happen. I don't think we should stress these people out if they have the technology. We're making an assumption that some people may not have the ability. But I know the majority of people have smartphones, and with the smartphone, you can get on Zoom via video and by voice. So I think we should, schedule the hearings. If we're supposed to have a hearing, let's make a motion to hear the case. Let's let the landlord and the tenant say, oh, wow, I'm really not going to be able to do this via Zoom. And then we let them know it's going to delay your case if you cannot do it via Zoom. And at least it's not us putting that extra burden on them.
And also, maybe, Lamont, go ahead.
Oh, Madam Chair, I just want to address the commission and give you all some information that as you all deliberate to help you better decide. What I can tell you is the city is in the process of upgrading some of our boardrooms so that we can accommodate both a hybrid to have individuals in the building and then those that are Zoom. I can provide an update as early as next week to identify what rooms have been finalized. And then also we just have to work with the scheduling. While we recognize you all have your commission on Wednesdays, not every room has this upgrade. So we would have to just look at a calendar to then identify what schedule is available for your consideration. Thank you.
That makes it a heck of a lot easier.
Thank you.
Well, there's nothing like putting people's feet to the fire to get them to resolve a case. Most judges realize that people who especially have antipathy toward each other don't want to resolve cases until they realize that the day of reckoning is coming. And when the day of reckoning finally arrives and you get them ready to go, you say, okay, guys, I've made these recommendations to you. You can lose. And if you lose, this is going to happen or that can happen to both sides, the landlords and the tenants and the attorneys who represent either or both of them. So I have no problem with scheduling hearings. You don't have a lot. You're really looking at one case that I can see. And even all the other cases on the docket, I think are going to probably go away, but this one case is going to be problematic. So if you want me to start to work on scheduling something, I'll be more than happy to do that.
Well, I just felt what Sonia said. So I mean, she had a very good point. I don't think we should prolong this as far as the tenant and landlord and issues that we have. I just feel that we need to move forward and not allow ourselves to back up and have. I know we don't have a lot, but I think we should move forward working on this.
Absolutely.
So I can provide you an update on facilities as early as next week to determine, how you want to move forward on the city side capabilities, if it makes sense for maybe the tenants to actually be in the building, because we can, for the most part, guarantee the technology will be sufficient and then do a hybrid Zoom. I don't have an update for you today, but I most certainly can provide that for you as early as next week to really identify where we are in the process and what the possibilities are.
Yeah, I think that sounds good. And then next month, instead of, having cases that we, vote for no action, we'll vote whether to hear the case or not. That works.
I think the hybrid situation is a good solution.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Right.
Anybody else?
No, I'm in agreement with everybody else.
Now do we make a motion to adjourn?
Oh,
Well, you got a lot of smiles on that one. Everyone, the
Yeah.
smiles lit up the
Okay.
room. That was amazing.
I make the motion to adjourn.
I second it.
All right,
Who made-
thank you all.
Good night,
Who made
everyone.
the
Thank you very
motion?
much,
Thank you,
commissioners.
everybody.
Have a good holiday.
Bye-bye,
everyone.
everybody.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank
Enjoy
you
the
again,
holiday.
attorney.
Bye.
Thank you
Have a good
again.
night.
Bye.
Okay, bye-bye.
Who made the motion?
Come on,
Fran,
Where are the babies?
Fran made the
where are the
motion.
babies? Are they
Sonia,
in bed?
Sonia
I
seconded.
didn't
Oh,
hear them.
I knocked him out. I'm home alone, y'all, with my 1-year-old. So Brenda was praying for me.
God
Patty,
bless.
All right,
Yes.
good night.
I made the
Bye
motion
now.
and Sonia seconded.
Thank you.